So, there's this old apartment building, right? Sarah, she lived on the 3rd floor, loved how quiet it was. Brick walls, thick as a fortress, stained glass in the lobby, real peaceful. Then, Mr. Thorne moved in, across the hall from her. Nobody saw him move anything in. Just one day, his name was on the mailbox. He was thin, always wore this grey jacket, even on warm days. The weirdest thing? He was always silent, not quiet, silent, like a whisper couldn't escape him, and his door, always just a hair cracked open. You'd pass it and there was never a sound, just a sliver of darkness. One night, late, Sarah was taking out the trash. She rounded the corner from the elevator, and there he was, Mr. Thorne, standing perfectly still, right outside his cracked door, not looking at his phone, not waiting for anyone, just standing, staring at the worn carpet. Sarah said, "Hey there," as she passed, trying to be friendly. He didn't flinch, didn't even blink. It was like she wasn't even there. Her skin crawled, like someone was watching her, even though his eyes were fixed on the floor. After that, Sarah started noticing things. His door, that little crack. It seemed to get wider whenever she was leaving or coming home. Just enough, like he was peeking. Sometimes, if she glanced quickly, she'd catch a flicker of movement, or maybe just a trick of the light from that dark sliver. But the feeling of being watched, that was real. It stuck to her like glue. She'd lock her door, double-check it, then feel foolish. But the feeling wouldn't go away. Then came the tapping. Late one night, around 3 a.m., a soft, rhythmic tap-tap. It sounded like it was coming from her door. Sarah froze, heart pounding. She crept to the peephole, but there was nobody there. The tapping stopped. She started to turn away, relieved, and then tap, tap, tap. This time, it definitely wasn't her door. It was coming from the hallway, just outside. Slow, spaced out, like someone testing how quiet they could be. She slowly, carefully opened her door. The hallway was empty, but Mr. Thorne's door, it was wide open, just a black rectangle, leading into absolute darkness. Sarah barely slept after that. Every creak, every shadow made her jump. One morning, she found something on her doormat, a small hand-carved wooden bird. It was perfectly made, with tiny dark glass eyes that seemed to follow her. She picked it up, confused. Then, a shiver went down her spine. Months ago, she had told an old neighbor how much she loved wooden bird carvings. A private conversation. How could Mr. Thorne know? She looked across the hall. His door was, as always, slightly ajar. But this time, a sliver of light from his apartment hit the gap. And through that sliver, she saw him, Mr. Thorne, standing just inside his doorway, perfectly still, his eyes fixed on her through the crack. And on his face, a slow, unsettling smile. Sarah didn't scream, didn't run. She just slowly backed into her apartment, slamming the door and locking it. Her hands trembled as she called the building manager. They came, listened to her frantic story, and went across the hall. They knocked. No answer. They used a master key. The manager pushed open the door, and Sarah peered in from her own doorway. It was empty, completely, utterly empty. No furniture, no boxes, no clothes, no sign anyone had ever lived there. Just dust on bare floors. Mr. Thorne was gone. Had he ever been there at all? Sarah moved out that week, but sometimes, in the dead of night, she still sees that unsettling smile and the dark eyes of the wooden bird watching